Cool. And let me unmute Discord out to chat now. They can actually hear you. That would be helpful.
Really okay.
There we go. Now you're going out. Hello, hello, hi, hello. I'm joined. I have guests today, who I
have guests.
Who I just broke right before stream by pointing out how I continually reference rimming during the painting streams. So Selena's never going to come on this channel again. Hi, Tom. Hey, DC. Hey, Cypher. Sahana, hello. Rose, hi. Val, hi. Banana Mobster, hello. Taru, thank you very much for the resub. I appreciate that. What? You've been around my painting stream, Cypher. You know the shit that I do. Hey, Rowan. Hello. I'm pretty sure everybody in chat knows who you are, and it is, yeah, anyone from my channel is over at yours anyway. So, but you know, go ahead, introduce yourself, Selena. Tell people who the hell you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Selena. I am a streamer here on Twitch. I stream mainly RPGs. And I'm also an actor living and working in Los Angeles.
Yeah, any hope of me behaving tonight is out the window. I mean, any hope of me behaving any night is out the window at all times, Cypher. You know this. That's, you know, I mean, it's, yeah, which really, I mean, you're kind of to blame in a very real sense because, well, it's because of Cypher that we met.
Exactly. I was about to say. Yes.
So it's, you know, it's my fault. It's Cypher's fault that I got inflicted upon you, really.
Or that we have had the pleasure of getting to know each other, and that we were able to go to this awesome event.
Yes, I mean, that's certainly the way I see it. Hey, Zero. But yeah, so yeah, we're chatting about an event that we did that we finally get to talk about because it's been
finally.
It was what, like 2-3 weeks ago that we went. I forget what the actual. I mean, it was right before, you know, you took off for your bachelorette trip.
It was literally the day before I left for Mexico. I think I found out I was going to Mexico earlier that day because they were giving it a surprise from.
Oh, I didn't know that part. Yeah, I thought this was our planned thing. Like that's.
Well, it was all planned by them,
but not by you. Okay.
Anything. And then I checked in for my flight. And that's when I found out I was going to Cabo.
That's amazing.
Which is wild. Yeah, super fun. We had a blast. But yeah, so Thursday. So wait, yeah. When did I fly to Mexico? I flew on the 27th. So, the 26th.
Yeah, so like 2.5-3 weeks ago now. Which that reminded me. I didn't tell you this, but after you had left, you know, a bunch of us hung out with the devs after, and so I was back at the hotel waiting for the car with some of the devs, and found out that, well, because after they did our event, they flew off to New York to do another one there, and then like one of the guys who was like running it, the guy that we checked in with, was flying off for his vacation immediately after the New York event. Guess where he was going?
Where?
Cabo.
What? That's wild. Oh my god.
Pretty sure he may have been there at the same time as you.
We might have like passed in the airport inadvertently. That would have been hilarious.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's a small airport too, so it's very likely.
That's hilarious. But yeah, so that's what I guess before we babble on that, I will forewarn all of you, chat and Selena, there's gonna be no structure to this. You're all used to my streaming. There's no structure to anything I do in my entire life. Why would streaming be any different? But we should probably give some actual context as to what the hell it is we're going to be talking about. So before we get into like the event and how it all came apart, they did give us the press kit, and so we have a video that we can show you to get the context around it. There is a chat command as well, ! Sunderfolk, which I definitely prepared before the stream and didn't steal from Selena while we were in the countdown going. But yeah, let me switch over to the other thing. There we go, and let's get this video going. I'm just gonna do the trailer because I don't want to play like a 5-minute video on the stream.
I got you. Yeah.
Welcome to Arden, an underground haven for resilient animals who make their homes under the light of the bright show.
Pretty.
But beyond its brilliance,
Play it again.
I know, right?
slows.
I was watching
This is
earlier.
a
It's like
village in need of heroes. The citizens of Arden call upon you. Gather your friends and assemble a team to fight against the shadows of the Sunderlands.
It's a hot. It is so. It is.
Mhm.
Oh my god! It's
Arm
so
yourself
fun.
and take on a new adventure where your fate is within your
That
hands.
is exactly how it felt.
Yep.
Telling us how to play.
May is a unique character with specialized
A little bit,
skills,
Val. A little bit.
working together to solve puzzles and battle monsters in the dark caverns. Then return home to improve your village
The hub is
and
so
develop
pretty.
relationships with townsfolk before heading out on another mission.
I just want to be there.
Fine-tune
I know,
your
right?
abilities, customize your build, and blaze a path that is uniquely yours. And when that path winds deep into the gloom of the Sunderlands, you'll light the way together.
When I'm like,
Yeah, the cards were the thing that ruined your life. Not me.
And change the fate
no.
It's you. It's your baby.
folk.
I'd watched the trailer all the way through. I didn't realize how prominent your
Rediscover
character
games.
was that you had played in that.
Well, she was so pretty. The goat was so pretty.
Back, she was indeed a very, very pretty goat. But there you go. So yeah, that's Sunderland, Sunderfolk rather. I think it's set in the
They
Sunderland. I
live
think
in the
it's
Sunderland.
they are the Sunderfolk. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, actually, now did I put the right thing in the stream title? Did I right? I did put Sunderfolk.
You
Okay,
did.
good. I just wanted to make sure I did it right. The goat was the goat. Absolutely. So yeah. So let's. I guess before we get into chat about the game, let's tell people like how this event like kind of came about. Because I was as with most anything that I have achieved in the streaming space or the tabletop space in general, I was tipped off to this by Cypher because that's how everything that has gone good in my life over the last several years somehow is revolving somewhere around Tanya. But was invited to this and was unable to make it, so sent the thing in my direction. And when they went, hey, you can bring your team, I'm like, I don't have a fucking team. What sort of operation do you think I'm running here? Like it's me. I ain't got a team. But since they had given me the option for a +1, I hit up Selena. It's like, you want to come do this thing with me? Because I figure, hey, like I've got given the opportunity, let me play that forward. And also like I recently met Selena a few months ago and she's awesome, so I was like, this seems fun, like let's put that forward. So yeah, we wound up at this very fancy hotel in like what was it actually, like Santa Monica, like I forget which part of LA actually is.
It was in Santa Monica, literally right on the beach. And yeah, Val, it was like 100% a team of chaos. We have assembled a team of chaos and literally right on the beach, drove up to the water, and it was like fancy. Like, they gave us free valet, which in LA
Yeah, they did.
was
Yeah, they did. Oh god, yeah, not having to worry about parking. It's like I'm fucking sold. Like that's the best thing you could do.
We have to go to Santa Monica at this time, so I need to leave. If the event starts, if the check-in is at 2, I'm gonna have to get there by 1:30 at the latest to be able to park and walk over, blah blah blah. And then they were like, yeah, free valet. And I was like, whoa. Okay.
I'm digging back through our text messages real quick about this because I'm pretty sure I said like when I had told you, hey, we got that email in, I'd sent like all caps. Like we get yes, that's exact. Yeah, it
was wild. It was so fancy. Oh yeah, and then like dinner was provided and stuff, and we were like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, I found this. Like, yeah, forward to the email. I'm just like all caps. We get complimentary valet parking. Sheila sends back, okay, wow. Also all caps. That genuinely changes the day. Like, yes, it seriously does.
It actually will like alter your plans, because when I first moved to LA, I lived in Koreatown with no parking, and when you find street parking in that neighborhood, your plans change. I would be like, I can't go out this weekend. I have a sweet spot in front of my apartment building and street cleaning is until Wednesday. I'm not going anywhere. Like,
Yeah. This is
So-
the I was familiar with this from same thing when I lived in New York. It was the same thing, and that's how rats ate my car. But that's a story for another time.
okay.
TLDR had street. I like one street in New York where the street alternate side parking wasn't actually a thing, so you could leave you could just leave your car there. And so I basically never moved my car. And then the pandemic hit, and all the rats came up from the subway because nobody was on the subway dropping food anymore. So they came up looking for food, and they built a nest in my car and ate the engine. It really should be a short film, how rats ate my car. Yeah, yeah. I've heard this story multiple times, and it's interesting to see how people react to this who have never been to New York, and like, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard of. Whereas people like Sahana, who also is in New York, like, yeah, no, that tracks. It's one of those interesting. Yeah, Splinter hasn't had work in years. Yeah, no, Splinter was, be hanging out in my engine. That's fine. It was good for him. Yeah, Tom, also familiar with MY. He's like, yeah, no, that tracks. Yeah.
Set up like a training ground in your car.
That's exactly it. But yeah, so so we rock up there, and so I don't know what you were expecting from this. Like, we haven't really chatted about this at all. We've saved basically all the conversation for this, but in my head, we were going to go into this like big marketing event. I was expecting it to be like, here's a bunch of like games journalists, and they're gonna show this off, and it's gonna be like a stage, and like we're gonna be in like a Comic-Con hall type thing, or like one of the ballrooms. There's a bunch of chairs got set up. That's what I thought we were going to be walking into. That is not what we walked into. We walked into like groups of like 8 people each. And I was expecting like, oh, is this gonna be like a bunch of like games journalists and people in that industry? No, they targeted the TDRPG space. Like when we rocked up, like the people in the previous group were coming out. I'm like, oh, hey, that's that bronze girl who I had never met before, and like now got to meet through that event. It's like, okay, that's Janine D. Okay, these are people I know and recognize. That's okay. This is a much smaller event than I thought it was going to be. So I was extra glad that Selena was there with me, because I had I was like, okay, good friend. Help me be slightly less awkward.
Now we know people, and then was super excited to see Persephone
Yes.
in our group. So then another person that we both knew, who then played in our group, and they split us up later, which we'll get to. But like, so we weren't alone, but then it was still kind of a small, intimate group. So we really got time not only to get to know the game, but also to like chat with the devs, which is awesome.
Definitely. And like, Seffi was there with Honorian as well, who I like was familiar with in circles, but I'd never really interacted directly with. And it's like, oh, turns out he's a really cool dude as well. So it's like, everyone there was super nice also, like, for the record, like everyone was super chill. But yeah, so they had the setup going, and because it's like, you could tell from that trailer, and I apologize, by the way, if the relief blower is going, you all know how my Monday streams go. Like, they'll move away in a bit. But so we get in there, and they've got like three to four subs where they've just got like a couch and a TV type setup. So they've basically built these little mini living rooms in this hotel, so we could all like get, because that's the whole thing, is they want you to chill and sit on the couch and with your friends and do this all in person, and that was super cool to see.
Yeah, and when we walked in and saw the setup, they had these phones charging in front of the televisions, and I was like, oh, is this a game played on the phone? Is this like a mobile game? Because we had no information about this game coming in, because we couldn't really find anything on it. Like,
because nothing had been published yet. It was all like complete, and my ass was like, oh, I'm sure it's just the devs charging their phone. I was wrong. But yes, they gave us this like preview, like presentation, kind of basically the trailer that you had just watched, which, if you were listening to the voice in that trailer and had not heard that for the first time, that was the fabulous Anjali Ramani, who is not only the narrator, but every single voice in the game. So that's something that, as somebody who DMs, I fucking love this design choice that they've made. Because similar to like BG3 style, like Anjali is the narrator, similar to how there's like the narrator in BG3, but Anjali does every single character in the game, which as a DM, I fucking love. Like that experience. No, it really sells that tabletop experience of it's the DM doing all the voices. This was super cool.
It was so cool to see, and that's what they said that they wanted to do. That's exactly the experience that they wanted players to have, and especially bringing in folks who maybe were not as familiar with like Dungeons and Dragons, because the person who presented like the main presentation to us, who, how many board games did he say he had? Something like 2,000.
It was a huge. It was in the. I swear it was in the 4 digits. Like it was. Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot of board games, and many board games. Yes,
Yes.
a lot. So he has a big love for them, and he was saying that the whole goal behind Sunderfolk was to bridge the gap of board game players and folks who maybe want to play board games, folks who would enjoy it, but maybe are just too overwhelmed by the sheer amount of pieces that are in a board game, the amount of time it takes to learn a board game, having to like read all the rules. And what was what was the game that he used as an
Gloomhaven.
example?
I know that several of you in chat were. That's where your mind went when Selena was giving that description. Yep, Gloomhaven was the example he gave. And I told him, like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I own Gloomhaven. It's in a box. I have never played it. I have never had the people to play it with who are willing to go to dedicate that amount of time to it. But also, I used to live in a New York City apartment. I didn't have the time to physically play Gloomhaven, even if I had the people to play it with. But it's obviously the
game in a box.
Exactly. The like Gloomhaven has a digital version, and loads of board games have digital versions, but they don't feel like you're playing the game. Right? They've taken the board game and they've tried to video gamify it. This project, they went into it knowing they wanted to marry the two things together. Like they wanted this to be a video game that feels like a board game and helps bring those two types of gamers together. Which, yeah, big focus on in person.
Huge focus on in person, which I think was really awesome. And at least for me and my personal experience, because I'm one of those folks who was like, I love Dungeons and Dragons, of course. I really love video games, but when it comes to board games, other than D&D, but even D&D, I don't really have a lot of minis. I don't do a lot of the map stuff just because I don't have a lot of space, and I can't really have all that stuff, you know? And then when it comes to those other types of board games, I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend half the night just setting it all up, you know? And so I was one of those players. And so they were like, yeah, this is the goal, is to bridge that gap. And not to get too excited, but I think they really did it. And I think they did it really well.
Oh yeah. I mean, hell, get excited. Like I'm excited about it. It's great. And that's one of the reasons why
had a blast.
We really did.
We had so much fun.
And like that's one that I was just happy to like. I got that sad. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna give that a minute. Selena fan.
Okay. So it was just so exciting to like to experience the bridging of that gap with like, what do they call it? Like a hex. Is that what it is? A
Hex system, yeah.
Hex system.
Okay,
yeah.
they've gone away. Good. Yes. So yeah. So like, obviously, like I was thrilled just to be there with you. It was like a cool friend. But like you've played how many video games now?
I think I've hit double digits.
Okay. Um, it's probably so consistent. Every Monday, Val, like they started when I was finally set up to stream after the move. They decided to start doing this on. Previously, it was on Tuesday, but no, it's Monday now. But so it was cool having that concept. Oh, hold on. Pirates volume is high, soon is a bit quiet. Oh, let me fix that real quick. I will up Selena's volume in Discord and lower my. So we can even that out.
It's, I think, the first time in my life that I've been called quiet.
That's just in comparison to my obnoxious, noisy ass. That's it. But yeah, so because I, obviously have the not just the tabletop experience, but like the war gamey side of things. Like the analysis that I kept giving, or the comparison I kept giving, was Warhammer Underworlds. So if any of you are familiar with that, it's that same sort of, it's like a hex-based system, and has the it's card-based. So it's very, very similar to what they've done. But like it was cool to have that experience of like almost kind of helping, like watching Selena get like invested in that side of like those types of games.
And I would say that I got pretty invested.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did.
I think it was like, I think Pirate got a crash course in gaming with Selena. We'll see if hopefully he wants to continue.
I mean, it very much does. But yeah, so so we go through the whole like introductory part, and then they set us over on the couches, and they paired each of us up with a death. And the less like is this guy Jarek was like,
Eric was awesome.
He was a sweetheart. He did not know what he was getting into.
He really didn't, but he was, oh man. The devs are so great when they partner with you, because well, first of all, they're so good about like not backseating, because of course they know what to do. They know all about what to do, but they let you just go. They let you just do it. And we were making mistake after mistake, and we were talking through it. We were like, well, if we do this and then we do this, and then we go over here, what did we think? We were like, oh, I bet those barrels, we were on a bridge. We're on a stone bridge. And we're like, I bet those barrels will blow up. So let's blow up those barrels, and then we'll blow up all the orcs. And Pirate and I were like, yeah, great idea. Totally. And then we tried to blow up the barrels, couldn't blow up the barrels. We're like, how come we can't blow up the barrels? All right, well, let's just do what the mission says, which is to push them off the bridge. Fine. Get to the other side of the bridge, finish the mission, totally cool. After a bit of back and forth about who gets to pick up the gold, because in this game, you don't share loot. Everybody individually gets gold and stuff. You don't share your loot, which, scary. But then we get to the other side of the bridge, and we're like, that's so weird. I wonder why those barrels didn't blow up. And Jarek was like, well, yeah, they would have blown up the bridge. And I was like, of course.
It's like, that's like my one bit of feedback is like, in any video game, if you put a red barrel in your video game, it should explode.
People are going to blow them up.
That's just the rules. But I was pulling up over here too. I grabbed like the key art real quick, because before we get too far into what, well, also because before we were getting too far into like the play, we got to show the characters.
We have to show the characters because they're so good. Sunderfolk, oh, they're here.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Excellent. Welcome. So let me fit this onto screen real quick. So
there's a post office where you can send items and gold to your party members. That's great to know.
So yeah, here's the key art, and every single one of us who was there, like I swear everyone from the company got sick of us all going, if you do not have plans to make a plushie of the fire salamander, make those plans now, because everyone is going to want it.
If they had a plushie for the fire salamander there that night, I would have gotten one.
But,
it's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
So each character, you can name your character.
What'd you name your character?
Which pun did I go with? I think did I just go with Barbarian?
No, I think you went. Oh my gosh, no, wait. It was. No, it was so good, and
it was Hercules.
that's what it was. Yes, Hercules.
Yes.
Because then I was like, Hercules, like from How I Met Your Mother. Yes, yes, yes.
So this should not surprise anyone as to which character I chose. Like, yeah, there's a giant bear who's a tank. That's what I'm playing. And yeah, Selena, as we said at the beginning, you chose the fabulous archer goat.
Yes, everybody thought, because I was so excited about the fire salamander, that I was going to play the fire salamander, which of course that's just logical, so that makes good sense. In every game I've ever played since I started playing, every game I've ever played that has this option since I've started playing Skyrim, I've played a rogue archer. So as soon as I saw the goat with the bow and arrow, I was like, that's got to be me. I am not as creative when it comes to naming characters as Pirate, apparently, though. So my character was named Beth.
I mean, you say creative. The amount of puns that I was making throughout our entire time there should surprise literally nobody. But I
think every time you went into attack, you said...
I did. All of my attacks. I yelled all of my attacks because I have to.
Yes.
So Jarek, the devil who's playing with us, he played the bard, and I loved everything. The bat bard was so cute.
The bat bard has a butterfly guitar, which is the best thing ever. And incredible. They drop these things called music notes, which are different like boosts that you can get when you move through the hexes that the bard has also moved through. So you get a bonus to your attack, a bonus to your shield, or a bonus to your health. I did get yelled at a couple times for accidentally stealing health that was supposed to go to Hercules. It was an accident, though.
There we go. So I moved that. Yeah. So you can see all of them. See, we didn't experience the... They clarified whether it was a crow or a raven, and I can't remember which one it was.
Sparks, there is the bard has an attack called Drop the Beat.
It's absolutely...
It's literally called Drop the Beat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's amazing.
So it starts out with this, like, there's a little, like, preview, like, your intro thing is a bar brawl. Because, of course, it's an RPG, you have to start in the tavern.
Yes.
And so there's a little like introductory bit there, but then the first like major like proper mission you're on is like, you're on the bridge, and the bridge was where I became a problem, because the bear barbarian has an ability that nobody should give me in any game ever. I think the ability is actually called like throw or toss. As far as I was concerned, the ability was called yeet, and you can yeet your party members.
I would say
fling. That's it.
Use fling. Thank you, Sunderfolk.
The actual name. The actual name of the thing. No.
I will say you use fling to great effectiveness, even when you were flinging us, because. And here's the deal, y'all. Like I said, I played lots of D&D in my life. Not a lot of these kinds of games. And so while I can bring a lot of enthusiasm to a game like this, not a lot of strategy. So I was happy to, when we got to a battle, Pirate and Jarek were like, well, then what if we did this? And then what if we did this? And it was like, yeah, got it. Like, so we just like, they told me where to move and what to do, but it was awesome. And the ranger got a cool ability too, where they could shoot in a line and hit 5 squares at once.
Yep. So that's an aspect to it that, I said before about how they've done a good job, I think, of bridging that gap, and where, like, as somebody who's experienced in the more wargamey side of things, and I've talked about this on like streams countless times before, how there's a lot I love about like wargamey like side of things, but the problem is a lot of that community is incredibly toxic. And so it's really difficult to bridge that gap. Like I've been trying to find like good ways to help bring like the tabletop side of things and kind of the more wargamey like combat type board game together. This is like the thing that I have been needing for this, because the yeeting around, and so I would recommend to anyone who is like that more experienced, if you're playing with folks who aren't as experienced, you're trying to bring them in, play the barbarian, and I will never not call it the barbarian. You're stuck with that now. But what I was doing was, because I'm bad at strategy, but I like pretending that I know what the hell I'm doing. So it's like, okay, let's set this thing up so like we can go over here, do this. And so part of this plan,
I thought you did very well.
well, so that's because part of the plan was, okay, so Selena's ability Ranger has this ability to do this cool, like, long shot that goes through a bunch of enemies. So it's like, okay, so if I throw you into this position, it's like, you're now into this position where you get to feel absolutely badass and get this big kill. It's the same mentality, I think, as a DM, you set your players up to succeed so that they want to keep playing and get that type of experience. Like, as a player, I had that ability to set Selena up to have those experiences. It's like, cool, this is the way to help get invested in that type of thing, because you feel like a badass, you want to do it more. So deploy the ballistic Selena, that's exactly it.
Pirate did very well.
I did very well. Yes. But yeah, I did yell out all of the attacks, the cards. So let's talk a little, I guess, about the control. Because the fact it works through your phone, like your phone is the controller. So the way they've done it is the way I like doing games like this, where only one person has to buy it. So one person purchases it, and everyone else can do the same thing. I think it's like the sort of Jackbox type vibe, where like one person buys it and a bunch of others can play.
And
so they have
it's gonna be on a bunch of different platforms. It's gonna be on like everything.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to buy it on whatever platform you want, and then everybody downloads. You will have to download an app on your phone, but I don't think you have to buy the app.
It's free. No, the app's free. They did like Android and iOS. I clarified on that as a smelly Android user who gets looked down upon by iPhone people.
Zero, we were already talking about
to clarify.
that. Pirate and I already have plans. The second it's available.
Oh, yeah. So that's, we're going to bounce around all over this. So we'll switch to that, because that's immediately where my mind started going with it, Zero. Because, the whole thing is built for, like, it's built with couch co-op in mind. They want you to be doing this in your living room with friends around. Like, that's the experience they want. But it can be done online as well. And so poor Selena and Jarek got full-blown, my brain starting to work in real time with the plans of, like, I was like spitballing ways you can make this work on a stream. Like, how would you do your layout? How do you get people's cameras? Can you figure out a way to get people's phones on there so you can see the phone controller in there? I immediately started spiraling into ways that this could potentially be done. But one thing that they've also done, I love, in regards to collab streaming and doing it as the couch co-op, whichever way you want to do it, you're not locked into the amount of players. So it's a campaign. It is an ongoing campaign. So it's like mission based, but we were like squeeing over the World Hub when it came back up in the trailer because it's so damn pretty.
Wait, but the best part of the World Hub is that there's a place where you can go to get new outfits and color and change the colors and designs of your outfit.
Oh yeah, you can color coordinate your squad, which we absolutely did.
And we absolutely did color coordinate our squad.
Because we were definitely heroes. Like that's...
we were heroes.
This became the mantra of our session. We're heroes. Like that's that.
Jarek would lean over and we would be like, guys, I think we're heroes.
Like we're heroes, yeah. It's great.
We're heroes.
So we had the thing with 3. So you have to have 4 characters in each one. But like, let's say, somebody then can't make the next session, but you can just have like somebody play 2 characters, and keep going. So you can swap that in and out so you can get the campaign through. So I did like that, like, because that's, a good solution to TTRPG scheduling problems is And same type of thing, like Baldur's Gate 3 has this problem with its multiplayer is you can, once you start a multiplayer game, cool, it's all on like one person's thing, and if somebody can't make it, like you can now, like, I guess, shove their character into a closet and like they can hang out there for a while, but it's difficult to like drop off and pick back up.
Closet, not in 2024.
I mean, that's literally how that mechanic works. That's, I didn't design it. It's on them.
Wait, I'm sorry, like literally into a closet?
It's basically, yeah, like there's what, like the old like multiplayer game that like Cypher somewhere probably still has a save file if it still exists, where like Kelly's character is still in a closet, which honestly was probably safe because that's the stream where Mandy and I then went and caused combat in camp, so it was probably for the best. So Kelly was safe.
The closet was probably the safest place. Yeah.
Or just shove someone in the closet if they cause combat in camp. Yes, which is where, let's be honest, that's probably where Mandy and I should have been shoved. But so that's all to say, like that aspect to it was like they've done a good job of thinking about that to where you can like switch back and forth. Like, I guess that's to the advantage of one person like owns it. It's all on that one thing, so you don't have like, okay, there's one person's not here, so their character's like save file isn't accessible or anything like that. No, it's there. You can shift that around like that. I did like.
Mm-hmm. And then as far as the streaming stuff, we were talking about it, and we were having some really hilarious and entertaining moments. In particular, there was one mission that we did where there were some spiders that are kind of freaky. As far as I'm aware, as of right now, they do not have an arachnophobia mode.
So we asked about this,
yeah,
and as this conversation was actually really interesting because as it turned out, Jarek was the dev who built the arachnophobia mode for, was it like Grounded, like the game with like where you're like tiny and has the giant spiders. He actually was the one who pushed for that and built that. But they discussed it, but like because of the nature of like the couch co-op thing and the working with the streaming, they weren't able to figure out a way to make it work. So I think they might revisit in future, but it is not. They weren't able to make it work for launch.
Yeah, I hope they do because the spiders are freaky.
Hey, Selena, how did you like it when the spiders jumped?
That was it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. But I also recognize that that might be it might be a little entertaining, I guess, on a stream if we were on a couch with friends playing that and we did that mission and they got to see me react like I did in that moment, which was jump up.
I'm relatively certain I almost got punched several times, like just
run
from the floor.
around the couch and was like, I'm done. I'm leaving. This is awful. No, they were terrifying. Because when you hit them, they jump. Yeah. You don't know where, but they're gonna jump somewhere.
Yep.
It's awful.
They have that very realistic too, like they flop over, legs curl when they die. Yeah, the spiders were real freaky.
It's not like Dragon Age spiders where they turn into skeletons. So you're like, oh, fake.
Nope, they do the whole thing. So yeah. Yeah. But that was only the one mission we had played. Like they're not like I don't know how recurring in the full thing those spiders are going to be as an enemy type, but that was only the one mission where that was a thing. But
then also from a player standpoint, as far as how the mission went, it was a good mission.
Oh yeah, no, it was very like they got like the fog of war type thing in there, and gradually like unfolds, like the mission expands as you go. One thing they did too that I really liked. This is one of the things that really stood out to me as like innovative, especially in the concept of being couch co-op, was so we're done with the mission, we get back to the main hub. Everyone's hub experience is unique. So your character, you've got your little like icons on there, And so you're still controlling it with your phone. So you have your little, your energy thing at your hub, fairly standard game mechanically. You get to like, 4 things in your hub before you're ready for your next mission. But you're all doing that individually on your phones. Like I'm over there, like checking, like chatting with the outfitter while like Selena's like visiting the post office, and there's a little like dialogue that only shows up on your phone. So
And you get to build those relationships with those individual characters with your character, which is so cool. And each one is a different animal. So there was like a penguin and an owl and a tortoise and a pangolin.
Okay, well, we talk about that penguin. That penguin's an asshole.
The penguin is an asshole. The pangolin is amazing.
Yes.
The pangolin was so cute. And I loved him.
That is how I could tell they've nailed the tabletop vibe. Is we met the adult penguin who's a jerk, but then you have to rescue the penguin's kid.
Yes.
And we had that moment of when the DM has introduced that one NPC that the party is going to adopt.
Yep.
It's the baby penguin. If an accident happened to befall the mine-owning major capitalist penguin who was kind of a dick to their child, and the child happened to be needed to adopted by a party of heroic adventurers, sometimes these things happen.
And if the accident that befell the adult penguin was a stray arrow, I mean, listen, sometimes shit happens.
Sometimes people get yeeted off of bridges, It happens. It happens.
It happens.
The pangolin is not a paladin. So the pangolin's a trader. Like one of the early missions was we had to rescue the pangolin. And then they were protected by us forever. Yes.
I was very excited. It's very nice.
See, that's the one issue, Val, is like, can't really throw a pirate off a bridge as a bear someday. It's that you and I are going to have that problem of only one of us can be the tank.
Right.
We got a tank main it. But the other characters are so cool. There's that kind of aspect of replayability too as well. On which note, we haven't talked at all about how the combat works.
Right.
So we should do that because it's got a little bit of deck building aspect to it too, which I liked. They've pulled in so many like disparate aspects of tabletop, and so it's like a what's it be like? Do you remember you used to get those little like the tiny sampler boxes of cereal? Like you got 8 of them. It's like there's your Cocoa Puffs and there's your Frosties and there's it's like that, but for tabletop mechanics. Like that's if that analogy makes any sense. It does in my brain, but who knows if it does in anyone else. But that's so you got a little bit of like the hex combat. You got a little bit of deck building. You got a little bit of like your character sheet and development. It's like the. So the combat is like you got your abilities that you can pick from, and they're all mostly like combat based. Like the bear, I had a rage ability that could kick in. But I could yeet people. I had an attack that like lets me like I retaliate. So if I get hit, I'd hit back like twice as hard. I eventually wound up with like a big like 360 axe spin that was really fun. But every time you do one of those, you do a fun. You have to do the fun little swipe motion on your card, so it feels really satisfying. To do the little thing on your phone to get your card, but you pull your card out of your little deck, and it's always like from like -2 to 2, I think was what it was.
Yeah.
So and that then like so if your attack's gonna do like a 4 and you pull a -1, your attack's gonna deal like 3 damage to it, which so there's that's where kind of that aspect of randomness does come into it, which bit some of us harder than others, but
it wasn't my fault.
No, it's not your fault that the cards hated you.
It if I had been playing with my dice, it would have been different.
Yes. So I don't think you managed to get like a plus number like more than twice the entire
I think
time.
I was gonna say I think I got plus like once. Like it was ridiculous. I even tried. I was doing like so. This is gonna sound so ridiculous. Early in my streaming, when I was fighting the brain in BG3, I had advantage on the 99 roll, right? And I double criticaled. But I criticaled and I took a deep, but when I rolled, I took a deep breath and I closed my eyes.
Yeah. But the dice know when you're watching. Yeah.
I know. And so ever since then, when I want to roll well in BG3, I take a deep breath and I close my eyes. Everybody else does the like, oh, you're such a good dice, you're such a sexy whatever. Like I take a deep breath and I close my eyes.
Uh-huh.
The one of the plus ones that I got when we were playing Sunderfolk is when I did that like flourishing. I did the like whoop. And so then every time after that I did a like flourishing like whoop. And Jarek and Pirate kept teasing me for it. They were every time I like did my little flip up to pick my card, I was like, and they would be like, "Oh yes, very flourishing."
But it worked too because you were an elegant goat archer, so it worked. It fit your character.
It really fit the brand. It really did.
Mm-hmm.
Very
exactly. Yeah, bad rolls can be salvaged if you say it's for the story. That's exactly it. Like bad rolls are more fun. I will die on that hill. I will always be happier to get a nat 1 than any other roll. Like that's just fun for me.
You'd be happier to get a nat 1 than a nat 20.
Yeah, every single time. Failure is fun. Also, if it's a nat 1, then I can blame the dice and it's not my poor decision.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I can see that.
There's also that. But no, failure is fun. Wrote my dice routine rolls. So for cooking dice, is set them on 20 when not in use. Rotting is to set them on 1. I've already tried cooking, so nice. Failure is fun. And so no, failure is fun, like because then well, let me clarify. Failure is fun if you have a good DM. Like if
failure is fun if you have a good DM.
Yeah, like if you have one of those terrible DMs, it's like, oh, you rolled a nat 1, your weapon's broken. That's not fun. Like that person shouldn't be a DM. But like if you're DMing, if you're playing with somebody who's a good DM, then that's fun because then you have to scramble to figure out how to pull things back. Like that for me is fun. I'm also a glutton for punishment. I think your cat wants to play Sunderfolk. Yeah. Kiros has also put his appearance in.
Harvey is very good at this. Is my cat Harvey. He's very good at letting me know when he wants my attention, and he's desperate for my attention right now. So I apologize.
That's oh no, a pet showing up on a stream. That's whatever will anyone do.
Oh, Kiros.
Yeah, he's doing his runs. So that was, so the aspect of the deck builder too that I found was interesting for me. You can just sort of leave it as if you want, but there is a pretty cool strategic element to it. Like as you go through, you level up. There's a level up mechanic into it, and you get like additional cards that you can swap into your deck as you go. And so you start. There starts to be trade-off. Like the first level up you get is basically, okay, here's more like positive cards you can swap. Okay, you take away those like the -2, and you can swap the -1. So you're skewing it, but then later on, as you level up more, it starts to go, okay, so this card's a -2, but it also has this positive effect on it. So it starts to implement that little bit of how much of a risk do you want to take. So there's a little bit of strategic deck building in there that, again, like it's that little sample of that type of aspect that obviously entire games are built around like those decisions. Like, but then it's that little introductory bit to it, so that if what people like that aspect to it, there's a million other games that they can then go further and deeper with it. So like again, it's a great like sort of melting pot of making a lot of these mechanics really accessible.
Yeah, absolutely. And like cause on one of the level ups I got a -1 card, and I was like, well, that's a bummer, but then realized that it could replace one of my -2 cards. So it was like, great, let's get that out of here. So that was really nice. And then there was like +1s, but then you also got a plus to your shield. So you only got a +1 to your attack, but then also you got a plus to your shield, which was really cool. And then as you level up, you'll get more of those cool things to your cards. So the deck was a really cool aspect to the
Yes.
To the experience.
And similarly to where it was, the deck building part, the abilities you unlock, you have to start picking those as well. Because I think you can have 3 abilities set at any one time.
Yeah.
And so for my perspective, I could have 2 abilities set at any one time because there was no situation in which Yeet was leaving my ability deck. So that's like cool. I've got 2 slots I can customize, and this one's staying here forever. Like, we're not even going to talk about that, so let's start figuring out these others. So then became so the 360 thing is really useful. Like, I get this big sweepy attack, but then do I sacrifice then a more straightforward attack? Because I got my one that's like, okay, I can take damage and retaliate. It's like, do I really then like hyper tune this to where I have to put myself in complicated situations to make this work, but it's going to be really effective? Or I can just, let me just keep focusing on the thing that I can just whack people with. So there's like that element of customization to where I think I got the sense like as you go, you'll be able to make it like kind of as complicated as you want it to be. Like if you want to play it much more simple and straightforward, you can, but if you want to come up with some cool and the synergy aspect to it between the characters was super cool. I mean, we got spoiled on that because of Jericho's the bard, who knew exactly what he was doing and was constantly setting us up for success.
100%. And I think like I think the devs were really good about seeing what we picked and then picking a class that really complemented it. And I was just about to say, that's what's also so great about and encouraging this couch co-op aspect of it, is because you and your friends can discuss, hey, so my character can do this. So then how does that work with the abilities you have? Okay, let's discuss while we're in the hub, getting our outfits coordinated, getting all of this settled before we head out on the next mission. Because the bard has this other ability that can lure other characters, including friends, including like you and your other friends, to move you without spending your movement, which is awesome because you get, depending on your ability, you only get certain amount of movement per turn. So they can move a character in their turn to get them lined up, depending on how the bear wants to yeet them or the ranger wants to shoot, kind of stuff like that, to get everybody in a line, if that's what you're going for, kind of thing. And then also to drop those notes, the music notes with the abilities. The head of was not Dreamhaven, but Secret Door. Is it Secret Door who's doing Sunderfolk, right? Or
I don't remember. It's like, yeah, because it's like one is the overarching studio, and then there's kind of like the team within it. I forget which one. I mean,
I think
the link was just dropped in chat. It's in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Secret Door of the
Yes,
Depths. There you
okay.
go. Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Said that seemed like the bards were dropping a lot of music notes, maybe too many, and I was like, I don't know, I think it was just the right amount.
Yeah. And so the bard then would also like be good for that. The role I thought the barbarian would be good at, for like similar with the bard, like you can, if you're more experienced, you can use that to kind of position your friends to where they'll be able to get those super cool badass moments. So similar type of thing there, which, speaking of the strategizing and the kind of the synergy, one mechanic they built in that I loved, that I think was mandatory, was when your turn starting, and the turns, by the way, are like player then enemy. So I think that's remember how there's like an initiative aspect to it, but it was fairly like consistent. So when you're like at the start of the turn and planning out, there's an option you can tap on the phone to start using a cursor on the main screen to point out.
Oh my gosh.
You can strat. So it's like you've got the little cursors going, and it felt really intuitive to use. Honestly, like it felt really natural once I got the hang of it. But so we're like posting on the thing. It's like, okay, so we're gonna go over here, and you got the little cursor up on the TV.
Yes.
It's like this, so it helps that area, that element of strategy, which was super helpful for even for couch co-op, but I think would be amazing, like used super helpful for stream purposes. But like, that avoids it, because otherwise 100% like we're going to start like being up at the TV, like we're going to move over here, like pointing at the TV screen, like we're going to move up to this area.
We started to do it until we remembered about the cursor.
Yes, like
I remember being like, oh well, what if we oh wait, hold on, like
yeah, I was starting to get full, like what's it, the thing from Always Sunny in Philadelphia with like Charlie Day with his like board behind him of,
oh
like,
my god, totally.
like that was just starting to reach that point. So having the ability to do that through the phone was super helpful. Yes, Pepe Sylvia, that's it. I was starting to go full in that mode. Like god. This is where we go, like the strats. We should also talk about the difficulty. Because the game has the game and the ways in which this is going to lead into how I think we broke some of the people who work for the company. Because like this is even go further than this, Selena, because you saw some of this during the event, but a bunch of us went for drinks afterwards, and it got so much worse and better.
I'm so bummed. I should have.
So yeah, you should. It's okay next time. I mean, you were kind of jetting off to Mexico literally the next day, unexpectedly. So can't really blame you for that.
Whatever,
But so it does have different difficulty levels. You got kind of your like there's your narrative and your basically your kind of honor mode-esque like equivalent, which I will be honest, I did try and talk Selena into trying the hardest one, and she very sensibly told me to not do that she was not going to do that. So like,
Pirate was like, aren't you like honor mode? I'm like, okay, listen, I played through BG3 like 7 times before I tried honor mode, okay?
Yeah.
Like
and I did ask a bit. I'm blanking a little bit on exactly what the answer was, because I wanted to like talk to Jarek about, okay, so what does this actually mean? So how does it get more, like, is it just because my concern with any difficulty mode is like, okay, are you just bumping up the health of the enemies? Which, yeah, that's an aspect to it, but they also, like, the enemies are smarter. Like there's more like, there's a little bit of like initiative fudging. So there's various ways in which they make it more complicated. And I think going into these preview events, because this is the first, from what I understand, this was the first time the devs had shown it like anyone who wasn't like friends and family, essentially. And they invited a bunch of us who were streamers and in the tabletop space. I don't think they expected the sheer level of trash talking that we accomplish in a cooperative game. And I especially mentioned this because of the group that was right next to us.
Oh my god.
Selena and I were playing on like the mid like difficulty level. Next to us was Sephi and Norient, who were playing it on the hardest difficulty level and lost one of the missions. And the shit talking between the two of them,
lost it multiple times too.
Yes, the blame that was getting thrown around was amazing. The sort of dynamic of that, the trash talk that only like two best friends who have known each other for ages and are super comfortable with can manage. But I think some of the people there started to get a little like, this isn't what we wanted our game to be. Like, what? This is not the level of animosity that we wanted. I think that kind of broke them. I know this is great. This is fantastic.
This is what you want, because this is what I think a lot of board game players are gonna do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will freely. I also was being a little shit myself, because I went full peanut gallery when we heard the yelling started. I was perfectly happy to sit there and start like stoking those fires.
Well, because we were
sitting there going like, are you winning? Like, oh, you lost. Oh no, we did this so easily. What's wrong? Like,
well, we did the same mission and beat it on the first try. So
because we're heroes.
We're heroes.
Yeah, right.
But that's what happened to us, Sparks. Is we were fighting over the loot.
Yeah.
There were a couple times where Pirate was like, "Oh, so you're just gonna go take that chest?"
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like that's
okay.
Fine, yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm just gonna be over here, like, getting beaten up by all these spiders, and you just go, "That's fine. I'm the tank. It's my job. It's good. It's what I'm here for." Yeah.
That's literally what you said when you went into the circle of spiders.
Yeah. I had a big swingy attack, and there were lots of things there that were, those spiders looked like they were in cyclone range.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have put that. That's, yeah.
I guess you don't have to fight your friends for loot. I think, like, metaphorically, maybe physically. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully not physically.
So yeah, it's easy to do though too, like, because there's like lots of like gold drops, like think like kind of Diablo style, where it's like the gold drops and you run over them and pick them up. So a lot of times you will just be picking up loot just to get to the point where you need to be effective. So there are chests too, that like kind of the first person gets, but yeah, you can switch loot around once you're back in. But yeah, physically via aggressive hand flailing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we will do. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. We should also talk about the beetle. The beetle was adorable. The rescue mission we had to do.
You get to name the beetle, first of all, which is great.
Yes. So there's little like gremlin enemies had like captured a beetle, like a big like, and the beetles in this like used as like a cow, like a beast of burden, essentially. That type of
And the beetle
thing.
belongs to the young penguin, who is our NPC that we've adopted, Amaya.
So we had to go and like, that was the mission. We had to go and rescue the beetle and like break them out of their cage and then guide them back through. But then, I like the way they did this too, because I think it was randomly selected. One person gets the chance to name it. It's like one of the phones. It wound up being mine who got the prompt. Like I got the opportunity to name the beetle. We collaborated on the name, but yeah, like there's a lot of things like that too. And like as you're moving around the map, you occasionally get those like, the sense of, okay, this person passed a perception check, like, oh, you've seen this thing. So it works that aspect into it as well. Like occasionally there'll be a little prompt on the phone where like one player gets tipped off to something because they're the one who moved into that thing. So there's that little bit of directional information that again kind of captures that feeling of, it makes it feel more unique and like you are playing a character and not just you're playing like these nameless parts of one team, if that makes sense. Like it does a good job of making it feel like this is a character that you are playing. And, the fact that you can name it is great. It really leans into that. But again, like the individual prompts and the fact that you get your individual experiences at the town hub between missions, like there's that. I've always felt like there's that level of individuality is lost from a lot of these more like combat style mechanic board games, because it's like, well, it's just you sort of grind through, okay, let's do all the admin and then get back onto the next mission. It did feel like we were playing a character. So like you gotta get as much out of that as you're gonna put into it, I think, but it does make it very easy to lean into that side of it.
Yeah, 100%. We named our beetle Agatha, by the way.
We did. And Agatha was perfect.
Purple and perfect.
Yes. Successfully rescued. Unlike Sephi and Orient, who got the beetle killed.
Twice.
Yeah. But they just weren't as good as us. It's fine.
They just weren't. They were also
They
playing
weren't.
the hardest difficult.
Well, we can't all be heroes.
Can't all be heroes. Anyway, it was genuinely so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I was expecting. I was surprised by how much fun I had with that game.
Very much
It
so.
was such a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And so much so that I'm really excited to play with all my friends. I can't wait.
This is a good time to point out that if you follow the link, there is a closed beta that you can sign up for. So, everyone might want to go and do that, and also go and wishlist it on Steam and do all, because this is, and I should also say, I think it's worth really clarifying this, that we got the opportunity to go to this preview event. There was no expectation of content being created out of it. I want to clarify that at this point, because like when we had it, it's just like, we're just excited to showcase the thing, and like we're not like contracted to do any kind of showcase or anything. Like we could have just gone and then said nothing about it ever again, and that would have been totally fine. Like the reason we wanted to come and like do this stream and chat about it was because we both loved it so damn much. It's like, this is it's authentic. Like we're not like saying like to push this. Is like no, like there's no kickback. We're not getting paid for any of this. It's just we are super excited about this and had such a blast playing it. And I think it has
Yeah.
so much potential. Like at the end, start toward the end of it, I'll freely admit I was fully obnoxious in my brain spinning of, oh, this has so much potential. And again,
We were
like
all just so stoked
like
about like
poor
what it
Jarek
could.
especially got like cornered at like lacked in these comments because I was starting to talk about okay, well, ways in which this could be evolved. Like what I want to see eventually down the road for it is I want to be able to use this as a DM to make my own stuff. Like it's such a good framework. Like you've got these like narrative. I want to be able to construct my own battles. Like I want to be able to make my own maps and use this as kind of the sandbox tool to start playing with. I think there's
And of course, you also
potential with that.
you want to be able to paint minis.
I was wondering there were like three different ways I could have gone, and I was curious which one you were going with. When I was we were chatting, there's like yes, I was definitely pushing him hard on you to make minis. Showed numerous people there. It's like let me tell you about Steamforged games. So showed them the Animal Adventurers line. It's like here's this mini company who basically does exactly what you need. They already exist. Talk to them. Can I say it sucks that like Ross, my contact, who I knew at Steamforged, now works at Atomic Mass, so I couldn't use him unfortunately to leverage. But all of us there were doing this, and again, like you missed the exchange at the like the drinks afterwards, but we're like chatting about his ways to help him like market this, and you reach out to like Sephi was like calling up like Becca Scott, like you need like here talk to her,
Sure.
like you got to start putting these conversations like this is she's somebody who should help showcase this for you. So like so many of us there were like we had such a good time with it. Like yes, it probably was a little obnoxious that we were like here's all the stuff that you should start doing, like listen to us, but like it was because we were so excited and invested about it. Like this is like we want this to succeed so badly. But like this is like anything we can do to help like get the word out there, and yeah, we want to play. Like,
I won't forget when we all sat down to watch the presentation and they opened up the first slide, showed us the title screen of the game with the 6 adventurers on it with and the beautiful animals and the beautiful art that they created. And we saw the 6 main characters and all of us were like, oh, because the art is so stunning and the characters are so beautiful. And we were all just like, this looks so good.
It really does. Like it is a gorgeous game. Like we've showed like the trailer earlier and like pull up the key art, but yeah, it's unlike on a big TV screen too. Like it's beautiful. It is very, very, very well done. Like it like there's so much like into it that's like this is clearly just a labor of love, and like you can tell like that carries through. And
yeah,
again, like from the event itself as well, to kind of like look back to that, like I was expecting just a big like media presentation type thing of like here, let's invite a bunch of journalists and like start getting words. Like no, this was they wanted people in the tabletop space to get that experience for it, and like that speaks to a great deal of faith in what they've developed, I think. And it was exciting to see how a Universal were like, this is amazing.
It was so cool to see a presentation from folks, from artists who care about what they're making so much and just wanting to share it with people that they think will enjoy it.
Yep.
And I think we all did.
Oh,
like, yeah. I know I had a great time. Yeah. And it was just, like you said, you could absolutely 100% tell it was a labor of love. You could 100% tell that they care about the game. They really cared about the mission of bridging the gap and bringing people together. Like, they said that they really started the development, like, a little bit before the pandemic. And then during the pandemic, it was a big inspiration to help bring people back together. And it was just, like, a lot of care, thought, and artistry really went into this game. and you can absolutely tell. It was really cool to see.
I think that's one of the things I think most stuck with it for me is like, as somebody who's I've been working from home since the pandemic hit, was like stuck in like small New York apartments, and basically everything I have was online. It's like that's when I started streaming, and then continuing a remote work was that sort of in person was definitely lost. That's something that I've definitely been really struggling with over the last several years, especially given that most everyone I've met in that time span has been people online, and that's fabulous. I'm incredibly grateful for everyone I've met, but I definitely miss that in-person connection, and having that getting to be there and experience that and play that was that whole, oh dear God, I've been missing this. Like this, I like not being able to really remember the last time I had that type of experience. I was like, this is, oh yeah, this hits an itch I didn't realize how bad it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, Sleazy, I like what you said about the whole cell phone thing will help with finding folks where they are, for sure. We were talking about that at the event, about how it's kind of nice to like, you don't have to set up kind of this big game board and everything. And then I said, it's great because then it's easier to eat snacks.
Yep. Yeah.
If you just have to worry about doing it on your phone.
Yeah, you don't have to, worry about getting snack dust all over the game pieces.
Exactly.
Also, I should mention on that too. They did clarify this as well when we were there. The app does work on tablets. So
that's great to know.
So you have an accessibility issue, perhaps, like if you have like a phone that's like that's maybe too small for you to deal with, or you just want something larger that's easier to like move through the various things for like mobility reasons or whatever it is, or you just prefer that larger scale. The app is they said it's going to be functional on tablets as well. So whilst it is the intent or the marketing is going to be around use your phone because they're pushing that whole accessibility thing, it's it's kind of the reverse of the Diablo 4 thing. It's like, what, you guys don't have phones? Like, no, this is a positive thing. It's like, yeah, everyone has a phone, let's utilize that. But if for whatever reason you don't, or you just want that larger device, if you have access to a tablet, that will work as well. So not having to keep track of all the game pieces and losing one in the carpet, or when a small furry four-legged creature decides that they need more attention and are going to jump onto the table and demand it and knock all the game pieces over. The many games which have been ended by the arrival of a kaiju cat don't really have that problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But it was such a fun experience, and it's definitely on my wish list, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, wine damage. Not like nobody has ever inflicted wine damage on an
wine
device.
damage. What are you talking about?
I've never spilled. I've never spilled any kind of alcohol on the phone. No.
No.
Definitely. So,
not I.
No, but at least but then if you replace the phone, all your pieces are still there, so that's good. That's I replace that. Wine damage, the smites from grapes.
Good to go.
Exactly. Yeah, you see, you're fine. So I think I know, and I didn't know how long we were going to be talking about this. In my head, it was like, I'll probably do this for like an hour. So it's like it's almost been like an hour and a half at this point. So it's like we're like just super enthused about it. Like it's been, we want more.
We want more. It's coming in 2025.
Yes.
I don't think they have an exact date yet in 2025.
Yeah, I think it's then. And like I said, the closed beta is available for sign up. So go wishlist it.
I'm definitely going to sign up for that.
Thanks, Sahana. So it's all through that link there. So there's a closed beta. Go wishlist it on your platform of choice. And I still have to go and sign up for the beta myself. Like I definitely want to be, because I just want to play more. That's like fabulous. Oh, also clarify this too. They said because it's referencing the link for the closed beta, and I want to bring this up as well. I talked about how if one person misses a game and then you can like assign the characters to somebody else. You can play it solo. It can be done single player. So if all of this stuff sounds like great and super appealing, but you don't want to play with other people, or you just want to, like, play around with it yourself, you can just control all 4 characters yourself. So that is an option. The game is like solo friendly as well. So that just hit me that that's something we hadn't talked about. So
Yeah.
that's an aspect to it. It's like, you buy the game, it's like, well, crap, can't get friends together, that's a waste. No, there's solo options as well.
Yep. And you can play it from a distance as well if you can't get friends together in like a couch. They just said that just because it's done through a QR code, so your friends have to have the app, and they have to be able to scan the QR code and see whatever screen is broadcasting the game. So however that needs to be facilitated for them to be able to scan the QR code and see the screen, that's all they need to be able to play at whatever distance they're at.
Yeah, that's actually really good to clarify, because I didn't think about really that. We haven't touched on it, but yeah, you don't have, like, there's no like proximity thing involved. So like, yeah, if you want, like, you could have like 2 people who are there physically on the couch, like a couple of other people remote, or like there are ways that it can be streamed. Whilst it has been designed around couch co-op, like Selena was saying, like, you don't have to physically be in the same location. So there will definitely be, like I said, I was already like thinking out like stream layouts, the way that you can make all of this work.
We were talking like all kinds of stream questions and stuff. I kind of felt bad. But we were all streamers.
I don't know what they were inviting. Well, I say they knew what they were inviting. I don't know that that's necessarily true. They knew that they were inviting a bunch of streamers. I don't think they quite knew what they were inviting, so far as like the specifics of how we were when we were there. But
we're fun. We're nice.
And we're definitely fun and nice, and chaotic and not at all cursed.
And I think I don't quite remember. I think the memory got a little fuzzy. I think I yelled at somebody about the spiders.
I mean, you did a lot of. You yelled about the spiders a lot. Like,
I think I asked who designed these.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah, There was a lot. To your credit, there wasn't so much directional yelling. You weren't so much yelling. You didn't yell at anyone as to more just into the general world. You had a lot of feelings about the spiders, and those feelings were very well expressed, loudly and frequently.
So I'm an actor, and I have to keep my emotions right at the surface.
Well, but
Selena yelling utter disbelief. Okay.
But you're such a subdued and non-expressive person. This is shocking to me.
My mom thought that sending me to a performing arts school would help temper the drama.
I mean, that feels like trying to make something less wet by throwing water on it. Like that's
yeah.
That's my child is extroverted and dramatic. Let's send them to a performing arts school. That'll help. I mean, it'll give you an outlet for it. It won't subdue it.
No, it'll give me tools to do it more.
Yeah, it's like let's send them to a situation in which that behavior is going to be rewarded and encouraged.
Exactly. Let's give them serotonin in response to this behavior. Incredible.
Amazing. Drama to the temper. Exactly. But yes, thinking that like Discord could help. Like this, I mean, it's no different really. I would think than any like streaming an actual play, like same sort of concept. We're all like in a Discord or a Zoom or whatever, and if you're doing like maps like Roll20 or whatever, like somebody's got a screen up with the whole thing. Like the tech exists. We've used it for plenty of other things before. The only slight bit of complexity is if you want to try and figure out a way to get the phone screens on, which I know can be done. That's more of a question of real estate. Like, how do you get like 4 phones and DG at the cat? There's a lot of different screens, so figuring out to do that on a stream is. But then that's the advantage of doing a multiple stream by co-stream, There's like one, every one person could be streaming at the same time, and you get like to see what that one person's phone is doing. So there's ways to do that. Yeah, I think they're seeing the 3 members of the Secret Door team scream at the spiders every time too.
I don't blame them.
No, the spiders were
blame
terrifying.
them. They're terrible. They're so good. They're awful.
I think we should say too.
Scary.
Well, we focus so much on the spiders. Like we should talk a little bit. Like the other enemies are super adorable. I think they're super cute. Like the spiders were like definitely, they stuck in Selena's mind for obvious reasons. But they play the little like goblin type creatures, like the big like fangs. I found weirdly adorable. Like, but also like the skeleton like things that were really, which we figured out that you could throw like the skeletons that could reanimate, but you can also yeet them onto a lava pile and then they'll just die immediately again afterwards. Like environmental strategy aspects to it were in there. Like that was really fun. Like there's a lot of other enemy types in there to that are more kind of anthropomorphized as opposed to the which I suppose that's a good thing. At least they didn't try to anthropomorphize the spiders. Like there is no spider character.
They're
like,
in here.
That's going to be the big bad of the whole campaign now. It's just an anthropomorphic
spider. No. It with the art design and the art direction is so good. Whoever designed everything is just, the team is just absolutely incredible. It's
write this down. And such a range of animals too. Like that was really fabulous. Like I was not expecting to see a pangolin. Yeah, like
I couldn't get over the pangolin.
The varied designs. Like I don't think other than the penguin and the child penguin, I don't think I saw like any animal design get like reused unless it was a member of a family. Like they were all over the place with it. Like you had me a pangolin. Yeah, see, everyone's gonna love that pangolin. Everyone's gonna fall in love with them. Like they were adorable and amazing.
So cute. They have scales and fur. They're the best. I love them.
They were fabulous.
Well, we really liked Sunderfolk.
Yeah, we really did. We had a fabulous time with it. It was great, and super grateful to. I'm super grateful to Cypher for like putting me in their direction, and grateful to Selena for being willing to come along as my +1, and grateful to everyone who put over the event. Yeah. And the event was super fun. Like it was real fabulous. I love it. I'm going to download this as a VOD and put that up later. But yeah, so thank you again, Sahana, for the link. Yeah, so there's the stuff all there that you can go and see, and do check it into a wish list. We're going to be talking about it a bunch more, I'm sure. So like we're definitely going to be like in contact with the devs more. It's like if we want to help, like we're right here. Like we're yes.
It was such a blast hearing
willing and able. Yes.
Hearing me scream, you mean?
Yes.
I'm so glad. It was such a blast playing, and we're so grateful to have gotten the opportunity. And we were just so stoked. Like I think right after we left the event, it was like October 10th when the embargo lifted. It was like it can't come fast enough because we just can't wait to tell our friends about it and get folks excited. Because
was it a couple of days ago I popped up in your chat going, Selena,
I know,
an email.
Got an email. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, so we were waiting for that press kit. Like we were. Yep. It's I'd say we're excited and invested. But so you're going to bounce off and do your regular streaming, right? That's
I think
the strategy. Cool. So
but thanks for having me.
Of course. It was fun to have you on here. So for everyone else out here, so normally if you're around on the stream, Mondays and Thursdays we go raid over the Lady Luck, but Lady Luck isn't streaming tonight. So what we're going to do is just sort of hang out for a little bit until Selena's ready to go live, and then we're going to go and raid over to Selena, and you get to be rid of me and go spend time with just her, which is going to be a much more pleasant experience for everybody. So
okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll hop off and go live, and I'll be playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Excellent. I would say tell everyone where to find you, but we're going to go over so they'll know. So just
perfect.
Yep. Thanks. All right. We will see you in a few.